Question?
What is the symbol used for measuring nails?
Okay, so what's the symbol used for measuring the length of nails? That is what?
Penny.
The lowercase letter d, right? So penny, it's the penny system for measuring the length, and then small lowercase d for the actual unit symbol. Okay, guys. All right, what we're gonna go over today is another thing that we'll be working on throughout the semester, okay? And that's going to be our research paper. So, as you guys know, that technology is increasing. How fast? How fast?
Very fast.
Very fast, right? Some will say exponentially, like every couple years or so, right? So, since we don't have access to all that technology and all that sort of good stuff, that information that's available, a laser printer,
Technology improvements in the last 100 years are greater than the last 5,000.
Yeah, it's basically growing exponentially. Okay, so guys, like I was saying, what you end up having, guys, like I was saying, we don't have access to
3D printers. It'd be nice to have a 3D printer or CNC. We have some in T's room, but all that sort of that research paper information or not paper, but all that sort of technology that's used out in industry, guys, enough. That's used out in industry. We don't have access to that. Okay, so what the goal of this research paper is to be able to understand the basics of what makes up the technology. So not necessarily talking about 3D printing, but what makes up the basics of it. What principles make up that system? So it's more looking at subsystems. Okay, so we're doing a research paper, and the reason why we're doing it on pretty much any sort of new piece of technology or improvement on technology is because if I were to focus it just on woodworking, okay, some of you guys, I'm sure, this class is fine, but you guys probably aren't going to go into woodworking or construction or carpentry or something like that. You're not, you'll take this class, get some experience, and then just go from there. That's fine, okay? And another reason is if I limit it to just woodworking type stuff, okay, you guys will probably find some stuff on the saw stop or other piece of equipment. And to be honest with you, I don't really want to read 20-some pages about a table saw, how it works. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm glad you did the work, but I'd rather actually like you guys to learn something that's of interest to you. So, like I said, what we're going to be doing is this paper. It's going to be due at the end of the year. So, if you look here, it breaks it down. It's basically one step a week. Okay, so you have 2 months to basically do a 2-page research paper. Not that hard. Okay, and by 2 pages, just so I'll clarify, full 2 pages. So not like one full page and then spilling onto the second. Okay. What I'll have you guys notice is some of the questions that I've gotten. That bottom section of this page right up here. Oh, make sure that it's this on your sheet says Monday. It's Thursday. Okay, so these dates all align with Thursday dates. Okay, so it's Thursday because Thursday will be kind of our research paper day. Thursday, but okay. The reason why there's all this stuff there is because to get the Why are we doing this paper? This isn't English class, okay? Well, why do we do math? Why do we do math? Okay? So why do we do math in this class even though it's not math class? Okay, it's need to know and need to be applied throughout. Okay, your job is going to ask you to do some sort of writing. Okay?
If this was a math class or English class or something, we would have a research paper every week or something like that, but it's not. It's just to get you the basics. Also, district policy states that we should have student reading and writing day, but not really in every class every day. So that means that the 8 hours a day, like Monday, you should be reading and writing once in that hour. Okay, same thing for Tuesday. Okay, this is basically my way of complying with the district policy of getting students to read and write a day. Okay, not every day in this class. No, we're not going to be reading Friday. No, tomorrow, Monday. Okay, it's once we're going to be doing that. All right. Joe, and like I said, we're with technology. The definition of technology is taking the resources that are around you and applying them to advance, the human race, or better, okay? If this was, like a scale, we'd be looking at specifically how the nutrients interact with one another to create the bark and everything like that. This class, part of Tech Ed, we're looking at how can we make use of it, okay? So tree we harvested. There's properties that we figured out from science, they know about what situations can we apply it to, okay? And am I ever gonna write in red? So if you guys are going some sort of like the military or the police or the DNR, something like that, there's gonna be reports. Okay, yeah, they're not gonna page. Most likely, they're not gonna be 2 page long. However, you're gonna have to write detail. She said this, and okay. If you start kind of basically writing down jots, right? If this is a legal document or going to be used at like a court hearing or something like or a discharge or whatever, you want it to actually be readable so that your competency is in effect. Okay. And again, the bottom question, what did you rather have it and be able to use it, not have it, not be able to? So something like I said is, wallet. Do you use it every day? You do. Well, school ID, like your driver's, okay? Don't necessarily use your driver's license every day, but when you get pulled over, if you have to go and sign up for something, it's nice to have your ID. Spare tire too? You don't need a hopefully you don't need a spare tire every day. When it's awful, when it's there. Right. So that's, like I said, that's the information. That's kind of why we're doing it, why we're going over it. What you have on Edmodo, I posted everything going through right here. So this link right here is to the link websites that I find very helpful for finding the article. There's also the due dates of in case you lose this paper, a research example, which I'll go over in a second, and then the grading rubric. So this is the grading rubric. I went over English department. They have a standardized one. Basically, you should not be your first time. So I took it and I adjusted it to fit our. So this is the summative. So if you guys look back towards right here, okay, so this line, that would basically be your summative part. Okay, so this is it goes into the 65%. All stuff is your formative, or the 35. Okay, so it's basically just, are you doing this? If you, like I said, want to work ahead, that's fine. I had people today, they finished this, they found an article cited and sent it to me in the first 5 minutes. Okay, well, you still got far left of class. You can start going on to the next point. So that way, if something does come up where you're busy with other classes, you don't have to worry about doing stuff. You can work ahead. Another is if you work ahead, I see that the majority of the students are, say, done when we only right here. Okay, well then obviously Thursday, I'll see that you guys are basically farther ahead than you need to be. So with that day, we won't go into the lab. Okay, so Thursday once a week, we'll have for time on the research paper. Another thing too, as long as we're here, is if you guys had, after the outline, there's paragraph 1, 2, 3, intro, conclusion. Those points can basically be mixed around. For some people, it's helpful to start paragraph 1, like how do you just move through. Some people start with the intro, it's helpful to start with conclusion. Basically, once you get to this point, it's a paragraph a week. Okay, not that difficult. Alright, so we talked that. Talk about grading rubric. Alright, so what the sites that I recommend for using for finding your research article, like I said, it's something about either a new type of or technology, new piece of technology, or a continuation or on another. Guys, enough. Moving upon that. Okay, so you can either use Pines. This is another physics organization. Okay, what it does, it basically breaks this down. So, like if you're interested in chemitronics or nanotechnology, you can click on that tab, and from there it goes even further. Okay, so it breaks it down further. Kind of like I said, what I'm looking for the body of the paragraph. A lot of the stuff that you'll find on here, it talks about how the electrons are moving or quantum physics. I'm not looking for research on that. Like I said, for the basic, the main principles that make up the majority of the article. So like if I looked at this one, right, here's one I use for freeze. Okay, I just hand in multiple gestures. Basically, you would read that'd be kind of your intro conclusion. So a very, very, very short summary, and like you guys all know what an intro is. Okay, that's your intro. Then what you're going to do is go through research, and you can break this down to 3 main points. So if I were to go through, I could say, how does the Connect system work, the actual sensor? So I paragraph about how a camera works in real life. So any type of camera, there's some camera. So like if I Google how a camera works, that information there is looking for the basics of how a camera works. Recognition, how does something, have you guys ever played on the Connect? Okay, so how, when it follows your hands, okay, how does the system do that? How does it follow and track your motions? Okay, then the third paragraph can be about the multi-touch. How does a multi-touch screen work? Okay. All right. Example is one that I kind of started as well. This was an article I found back in November. What you guys can see, there's basically a series of glass blown jars. There's actual wastewater in there, okay, and there's a bacteria in there that as it processes wastewater, so some simple homes are thinking about this would be kind of a cool thing. I don't know, would you want one of these? But if we go through, if you guys look at week 3 or week 2, high points, guys. Yeah. So if you look through, highlight the main point, then the following week beginning on what are talking about what are the main topics we're going to talk about. So one, I could working on my outline. I read through it. So the first paragraph is going to be how we currently treat wastewater. Okay. So when we flush the toilet or drain something out of the sink, what happens from that point on? Okay? So a paragraph about that. A paragraph about the actual acid bacteria. Either that specific bacteria or bacteria in general, or animals in general that create their own life. How does that work? Okay? And a third paragraph, how glass blowing is done. Okay? Because, again, this is the old system. Part of the system is a glass blowing part. Okay? So I could do a paragraph on that. Conclusion, so on and so forth. Like I said, if on this post here, it says it's either popularscienceviz.org or Popular Mechanics or the articles from my A. So if you guys, what I've done is in the folders, there's research articles. So basically I've gone through and I kind of looked at these ones and said these would be, acceptable once these load. Use these. I've found that it's easier though to rate towards the actual website itself, okay, and cite those there, rather than going through a modal. That's just what I would suggest. If you guys look, it says MLA citation. So I don't know if you guys want to take a couple quick seconds, write that down. This is the citation that for. So this format. Last name, article site. Suggest, like I said, pen down on your paper so you know what I'm looking for. Citation. Okay, so instead of going to cited, which is fine, but you know what information at least needs to be on it.